Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained Dawn of War Unification. Today I have a faction guide for you for the Eldar. A lot of people asked me to do Eldar, and so I did now a guide, or I'm right now in the process of doing a guide with you. Eldar are, let's say, if you would have a fantasy setting, which is not like 40,000 years in the future, it is elves. Elves, and you see the spiky ears here as well. Funny thing. Yeah, space elves basically, but not your tree-hugging lovely elves, more like your angry space elves that shoot your face off or cut you with their swords. As traits, you could say they are very fast but fragile and rely on hit-and-run tactics to succeed. So they're really micro-intensive, especially in the early game, because they have one ability, Fleet of Foot it's called. I will come back to it once I'm in the game. Basically, what it does is makes you faster, but lets you deal less damage. So you are always activating it, so it's toggleable, activating it, running away, deactivating it while shooting, then activating it again. And if you imagine you have like 3 to 4 squads and you need to micro them all, babysit them and micro them all with that, is difficult on the micro side, but if you can do it right, it feels good, and it feels good to play them right. I don't really can't play them as well, but in process of doing this guide, I had a few games against the AI and I felt like a absolute pro microing 2 squads. Whatever, enough talk in the beginning. We jump into the save game. As always, I have prepared. And here we are in the save game. Always like a little shot of everything. But before we go into their units and stuff, a quick look at the resources and unit caps. The resources are standard resources. You get requisition and power, and it's the same as for most factions. You build listening posts, you cap points, you upgrade listening posts. For requisition, you build power generators and thermoplasma generators on the slag deposit to get power. Squad cap is also 2020 standard. At maximum you start off with 10-0, which is also standard for most factions. The way of increasing your squad cap is a little different. You get +3 for every web brigade you build, and you get also +3 support cap for their vehicle production building, their support portal, and +7 vehicle cap for their new Titan building, because the Titan also is a vehicle. The interesting part is that if you get their relic units, the avatar, we'll come to him later, this guy, one of the effects he has is that the squad cap is increased as long as he is alive. So the maximum, the squad cap maximum is then 24 for infantry and 30 for support. You still need to build like stuff like web brigades to increase the squad cap, but it's like the maximum is increased. Okay, that's about the squad cap and everything. Let's start off with the buildings. And the buildings have one special mechanic I want to jump into right away. Like most of the buildings can have this ability relocate. It does exactly what it sounds like. It relocates the building. So even the buildings are mobile. You have the HQ. You can relocate them to any of these web brigades. The web brigades you can build anywhere on the map. They have a little building area around them, as a listening post does. So you can relocate every building to a web brigade. I think not to only to web brigade, not to a listening post. So I have prepared a little web brigade here to show you how to relocate. You can relocate your plasma generators, basically all buildings apart from listening posts, because they are bound to a point, and web brigades themselves. So we're now gonna relocate a plasma generator here just to show it. It gets a little blurry here and also a little blurry here. It is here and can be damaged all the time here until the relocation process is done. It's not like you can attack it on both sides, you can attack it on one side. We're also gonna relocate HQ for the funds. You see, it's almost materialized, but not yet. You can still shoot it here as long as yeah, the hitbox is still here. Now, just now it is here. When it's fully materialized, fully done, you can shoot it here, not earlier. Can we quit it? No, we can't quit it. Once it's started, it's started. Okay, this is your HQ, the webway assembly. It now jumped here. you build your workers and your capping squad, but also 2 squads later in tier 2 and tier 3. It has a lot of upgrades. About the upgrades I will talk in the tech trees. I think it's better. As for resources, I told you before, you have the plasma generator and the listing post. The listing posts have also 2 upgrades. The one is against infantry, like this, I think it's the scatter laser or shuriken catapult. And in the second upgrade gives you bright lenses, so anti-vehicle. It's good to note, because not all factions have anti-vehicle listing posts. While we talk of defensives, let's talk about the turrets they have. It's support platform, it's called. It has like anti-infantry stuff, but it also has the possibility to upgrade to a D cannon in tier 2. The D cannon is very special. It has, as I told you in my weapons overview, very unique damage spread. I forgot what it does, but it's very good at certain stuff and very bad against other stuff. I think it's very good against vehicles, but very weak against everything else. It has a really long range. Can I show you? For turrets, it has a really long range. And does shoot really slow, but has AoE attack and everything. So a pretty nice turret. What's special about the turrets is that you cannot build them anywhere, like most factions do. You need to have them in a buildable zone, which is solved by building just a cheap web brigade anywhere and then building the turrets over there. But it gives the enemy, if you're like turret rushing, a bit of time to see the turret rush coming. The last defensive building is a standard minefield. Unit producing buildings, you have the aspect portal for all your infantry. You have the support portal for all vehicles, but also these new units, those behave more like infantry. We'll come to them later. And you have your greater webway support gate, which is your Titan building. That's all. You have one for infantry, one for vehicles, one for your Titan. Very, you could say, basic. You have one research building, that's the Soul Shrine. This is also your tier 2 building. Has, if you have not researched stuff, like the 6 stuff to research, 2 abilities, 3 abilities, yes. And these optics, which increase the damage of all your infantry, and reinforced armor, which increases health of all your infantry. And then you have the Farseer veteran upgrade, which is basically for your heroes. Basic heroes are your Harlequin, I will tell you later, the Farseer and the Warlock, I think the Warlock. Yeah, the Guardian Warlock, you will see. Guardian Warlock and Warlock Squad, right? Not? Yeah, so this is for your heroes upgrade. It has 2 tiers. One thing I forgot while I'm talking about upgrades is the upgrades for your resources. You have 2 upgrades for resources, which is standard, but you can get in tier 2 the first upgrade when your Soul Shrine is finished, and in tier 2.5, so when your support portal is finished, the second upgrade. So you can get resource upgrades earlier than most factions can do, which is nice to know. The Web Brigade I talked about can also produce stuff in tier 3 and has different researches here. One, you need to research the relocatability. The second one is healing way station research, which gives an health regeneration aura around the Web Brigade. And the shroud ability, I'm gonna research right now. Once it's researched, they get a toggleable ability to infiltrate all buildings around them, including the Web Brigade himself. So really nice to have stuff being hidden for your enemies. One interesting part about the 2 standard unit producing buildings is that you need to get add-ons for them. It's similar to the IG, where especially for the vehicles you need to get what are they called, quarters and stuff, and here it's like aspect stones. You see them like the red stones here, these are aspect stones. Same for vehicles. and it has also a visual effect. These stones you see here aren't here until you have put in certain aspect zones. I have here some stuff without the stones, and you see they are empty here and are also empty here. Interesting is, as there is a new aspect zone in Unification, the Shadow Spectre is not shown, visible here, I think. Yeah, but every other aspect zone has an, I think, a specific point here. Like this one is always here, and the Fire Dragon is somewhere else. So you can see what aspect zone the enemy has in here. I think it is not like 1, 2, but it's a specific one. Same here, but here interesting is that Nightwing aspect zone, which is in vanilla Soulstorm as well, but was added in Soulstorm, was not there in Dark Crusade, has no visual indication here. It's only the aspect zone for the 3 other vehicles, for the Viper, the Wraith Lord, or the Wraith. It's not only the Wraith Lord right now. They all have a special place here. So you can see which aspect zones are in producing building if you are like fighting Eldar. Very minor detail, but I like these little details, like little visual changes. I liked it a lot. And you also saw that these different Wraith units, the new Wraith units, are all needed to have the Wraith Lord aspect stone. Now I have researched the Shroud ability, so I can show you. It has a toggle here, and if I toggle it, everything is shrouded, is infiltrated. Really nice to hide your base somewhere on the map, or so. It's like the Eldar hit and run ways, you could say. Let me take a look if I told you everything about the buildings. No, that's the most important part. Let's jump over to the units. We start with the builder unit, the Bone Singer. The Bone Singer is a very special building unit. Not that it, like does build very fast or something. The special ability it has, it can teleport. It has a really wide teleporting range. You can see here it's like really long way. Has also a melee attack if you really need to tie up something, but it's very fragile, and infantry armor will die rather quickly. The interesting part is the Wraith Tomb. That's an ability you need to research. It basically stuns an enemy building for up to 30 seconds. I can show you the visual effect here. I have one Bone Singer right next to the enemy HQ. Put it on, it gets these little webs here. It, as I told you, it lasts up to 13 seconds. If the Bone Singer dies in the process while this is active, the duration is shortened, and it's in intervals of 10 seconds. So if it dies within the first 10 seconds, it only lasts 10 seconds. If it dies within the first 20 seconds, it lasts 20 seconds, and if it dies later, it still stays 30 seconds. So 30 seconds at maximum. If you want to have this shortened, try to kill the Bone Singer that casted it. But you see the cast range is quite long, and you can also teleport into your base and then run away. So this is difficult to spot for you. And best use, the most common use, I could say, is against Necron Monolith. You know, Necron only has one producing building, really. In Unification, they get also the Crater Summoning Core, but that is in tier 2.5. Wraith Tomb can be researched right away in the beginning of a game. So, yeah, a good way fighting Necron is to do Wraith Tomb on their monolith over and over, and they can't build stuff, can't research, can't tech. Can't research is not true, but they can't tech, they can't produce, so really good ability for that. Okay, let's jump over to the heroes. The first hero, and basically only real hero you have access to, is the Farseer. Farseer Kairis is like a special Farseer. She is more of a support commander with a lot of abilities. Her damage and health isn't the greatest, but she makes up for with like really good abilities. Right from the start, she has access to 3 abilities. Psychic Storm, which is an AoE ability which does most damage against infantry. As it's available right in tier 1. Its damage isn't the greatest, but it's best used against infantry squads. A nice little trick I learned while watching other players is that you can ground target it, but then it's like the area of effect at the ground. Can't even see it. But you also can click it on an infantry squad. If you click it on an enemy infantry squad, the visual will probably, I think, stay at the starting zone, but the damage will stick basically. So the full damage, which is dealt over 10 seconds, will get dealt to the squad. The second ability is Mind War. Mind War is attacks a single squad or single unit, you could say. It's also usable against demons and does quite a lot of damage against a single target. So it's best used against commanders, or what is also very good use is if you have a squad running away with one model, you can cast it on the squad and the model will most likely die. So you can use it to, for example, if you play against Tau and have like the stealth suit and you detected one, you can put it on a stealth suit and kill it. So really useful there. And the third ability is Guide. Guide improves the accuracy of one squad. Note that also most melee attacks for Eldar have not 100% accuracy. So if you put Guide on a melee squad like Banshees, it will also increase their damage per second. Really nice to know. Abilities you can research is the Fleet of Foot ability. Let's talk about it while we're at it. Most of the infantry have access to it. If you click it, you move faster, but you're 50% faster, and your accuracy is also decreased by 50%. So you're fast, but not hitting good. So normally you want to put it off as soon as you want to deal damage. But for your melee squads, where your biggest concern is that they stick on the enemy range squads and damage is not your greatest concern, you can basically turn it on and leave it on. Like if you have Banshees and you want to have them in the enemy face, it's probably best to keep it on, even though your accuracy is not as good. As long as you stay in melee, the enemy can't shoot back and you at least have some swings in. The last standard ability in Vanilla was also available is Eldritch Storm. Eldritch Storm is very different to Psychic Storm. Eldritch Storm is more meant to kill buildings, vehicles, and, note, greater demons. It has a little, the area effect isn't the greatest, but it will get also a knockback effect, which has almost doubled the size of this cursor. Let's put it down here. This is knockback friendly units. Doesn't look like it, but looks really nice. Whilst we're at it, let's do the other storms everywhere. This looks a little more impressive, I think, but does way less damage. The damage from Eldritch Storm is really high. It's a tier 2 research though. And the last ability you see here is an ability given by War Gear research. War Gear is also all available in your Soul Shrine. And one is the Soul Stone. Soul Stone here. Once you click it, the Farseer is unkillable for the duration. It still receives damage and stuff, but it will always remain at 1 HP. It's really nice if you want to book it out there with Fleet of Foot or something. As you noticed, you have quite a lot of abilities, and if you stick her to a squad which has probably here like a different ability like War Shout for the Banshees, you have no access to War Shout because all the abilities squads slots are taken over. Let's give me a second. As I'm talking to you, maybe you can use the hotkeys. You have hotkey W. Can you still use it? No, it needs to be here. I can't use Wash Out as long as she is attached to the squad. I have prepared a counterexample. If you have only the 5 abilities she starts with, not a Soulstorm, you have access to Wash Out while attached to Banshee Squad, for example. Just something to note here. And the second commander squad you have here is the Harlequin. Harlequin is a tier 2 commander unit. Basically the idea for the whole Harlequin faction here. An anti-commander and disruption hero, you could say. She as well. Is it she? Yeah. She has really high damage, especially against commanders, basic damage, but also has 2 really nice abilities. One is Dance of Death. When you activate it, you need to be near enemy infantry. The Harlequin will just jump around, left, right, center, all around, and will disrupt the heck out of the enemy squads, like really long throws and everything. And the second one is Harlequin Kiss. The Harlequin Kiss basically kills one unit and does a lot of damage around it. This is not cannot be used against single target enemies like commanders. Commanders aren't you can't target it against commanders, but if the commander is in a squad, it always will hit about AoE damage of it. But the Harlequin Kiss, I think, is randomly target if it targets a squad. And if it so happened to be to target the attached commander, the commander will die. It does like 4,000 damage or something. It's like really insane. So use it best against infantry squads to basically kill a lot of stuff. Very deadly, but also very fragile, as you see. That's commanders. Let's talk about infantry. Most of the units of Eldar are infantry, as you see here. Quite a lot of variants. The first infantry squad you have access to is these guys, but they get upgraded in tier 3, which is new to Unification. Let's see how they look in their basic variant. The Guardian squad. The Guardian squad has fleet of foot, of course, and can get different abilities. It can get plasma grenades, actually in tier 1 directly, and can get abilities from their warlock leader. Their commander is a little warlock here. They get entanglement, which is an entangle, so it's an, how should I say, a root ability, you can say, and embolden. Embolden increase the morale, the maximum morale of the squad by 200 for duration. And the warlock itself can detect infiltrated stuff. If you get to tier 3, they get automatically changed to Avengers. They not only look cooler, but they have also increased or better weaponry, abilities and stuff all stay the same. The warlock leader also stays the same. The guardians around, I don't know, their armor looks different, so maybe they even have some increased armor. HP is the same. The tool, what it states that they get increased or improved weaponry, so they stay, how should I say, more relevant in late game as they normally would. Very useful with the plasma grenades if you want to use them. The other tier 1 squads you have access to are the Rangers. Rangers is limited to 1 squad, sniper squad, does good damage from long range, very good against morale, and can also get infiltrated if you research it. You have here research to infiltrate them, also available in tier 1. Then the other 2 tier 1 squads are your... Let's talk first about Banshees. Banshees are your melee focus squad. Also have some shuriken pistols, but are best used in melee. Can use fleet of foot and get war shot ability in tier 2 if research from their Exarch. Notice that I need to talk about it right now. All the Exarchs, basically the sergeants for Eldar, increase the damage of the squad, not the morale or anything, but not only do they damage themselves, but the damage dealt by every model in the squad is increased by 10% for most. For the warlock, you need to research mysticism, which gives them access to his abilities, and also increase the squad damage by 20%, if I'm not wrong. One thing about the warlock I forgot is if you research mysticism, what is it called? Shroud. It's a passive ability which decreases range damage done to this squad by 25%. For this warlock, in this squad, there's later another warlock squad. This also applies to an attached Farseer. So if you attach the Farseer to a Guardian squad, which has a warlock and mysticism research, the damage to the Farseer also, range damage is also decreased by 25%. Here you see them now infiltrated. And the last and most used tier 1 infantry unit is the Dark Reaper. These guys are very good against infantry and heavy infantry, have long range, do a lot of damage, but can't fire on the move. So this is the squads you're gonna always Okay, I need to run away. Okay, now I can shoot, stick here and shoot. Or now I need to run away again and can't shoot on the move. So these are your highly micro-intensive units, but they are worth it because the damage they deal is immense. They have also, as I said, quite a range, so you can outrange listening posts and turrets with it, but not with all models. I think up to 3, maybe up to 4 models can outrange turrets and then they're gonna get shot. It's only infantry armor, so they will die more quickly than you want to. So keep that in mind. Most used unit for Eldar in tier 1 and early tier 2. In tier 2 you get access to more units. Who would have thought? The first you have access to are the fire dragons. Fire dragons are a short-ranged anti-vehicle, anti-building unit. Very durable, have very good armor rating and good health. Are fast as all Eldars are, but the range you see here isn't the greatest. The fusion guns have mediocre range, and yeah, I myself don't like them a lot because of the range problem they have, but they are very good and tanking damage as well. The new unit in Unification you have access to is the Shadow Spectres. As you can see, they are infiltrated, but they're only infiltrated if they don't move and they don't shoot. So if they do nothing, they are infiltrated. Basically, their, how should I say, their purpose is anti-vehicle as well, but with a longer range, but are limited to 1 squad. Also get plasma grenades if researched, can jump, but can't use field of foot, but then they can jump for that. And they also have this diffuse beams, which is let's me think, longer presence range is long ranged fire, but they can also use diffuse beams. Under the mode, range and penetration of this weapon is lower to gain spread and punch. So it's more like against infantry then, while it is active. If it's active, they yeah, change their damage, what they're good against vehicles normally, but now they are good against infantry. Speaking about anti-infantry, here we have the best anti-infantry squad of Eldar. It's the Warp Spiders. The Warp Spiders get, you can get once you get support portal, so it's tier 2.5. The aspect zone is really expensive and takes a while to be built, but and then you can get up to 3 Warp Spiders. Warp Spiders themselves are rather slow for an Eldar, but they have the jump ability, which is really fast, and it has 2 charges before it needs to cool down. So really good. They also gets an exact leader, which has yeah, also it looks different. It has like twin, what should I tell you, like more damage, and increases the damage of the squad as usual. And you can research haywire bombs, which are basically melter bombs, with okay range. So they have a anti-vehicle ability as well. So really useful. If you get out 3 of them, they can mince enemy infantry in seconds. As the usual, they are rather fragile, so don't teleport them too close. The range is the standard range, I think. Let's talk about tier 3 infantry. The first squad you can build in tier 3 is the Seer Council. And Seer Council, I tell you what, these are some tanky dudes. They have commander armor, quite a lot of it. And if you research mysticism, they have the shroud ability, similar to the warlock leader of the Guardians, but it is 50%. Yeah, 50% range damage reduction on commander armor. These guys do not die. They are really expensive, as you can see here, but the reinforcement time is not very long. So as long as you have the resources, these guys basically aren't dying. They also have the embolden ability, which increases their already very high morale a bit more. Not the most useful if you ask me, but in general you just build them, reinforce them, and fleet of foot them to the enemy and just wreck them. Really nice squad. Limited to 1, of course. And new squads, infantry squads for Unification, built in the support portal, are these Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades. Everybody played Dawn of War 2 will remember Wraith Guard, but we stick to Wraith Blades right now. These are slow, but when you build their Spirits here, which is a little Warlock fella, you can use Fleet of Foot of them. Normally they don't have access to Fleet of Foot, so you really want the Spirits here. They all both detect infiltrated units and can use Entanglement once Mysticism is researched, because Mysticism is a tier 1 research which gives you abilities to all the different Warlock leaders and stuff you have. So I don't know if this Spirits here has also the Shroud ability to decrease range damage. That's not stated here, so I'm not sure. But it gives them the Fleet of Foot ability, which is unique for this squad. Giving him a squad the Fleet of Foot ability, which doesn't start with it. They have these Ghost Swords here and this little shield, but you can give them, if you upgrade it, can give up to 2 models a dual Ghost Sword, which increases their damage by quite a bit. Meant, as you can see here, commands commanders, demons and heavy infantry. The more cool squad, if you ask me, is the Wraith Guard. Similar to the Wraith Blade, it's really slow until you have the Spirits here, which increases their speed if you use Fleet of Foot. Also give them their Entanglement ability, and for weapons they have like really good availability to choose from. The standard Wraith cannons are good against demon, infantry and whatnot, have mediocre range, similar to the Fire Dragon, but you can increase them to Bright Lances, which is anti-vehicle, long range, Star Cannons, which is long range anti-infantry, to Shadow Weavers, mid to long range anti-infantry, anti-morale with a small AoE and knockback, and then the Ripro Cannon, which has, give me a second, the rapidly scaling Sonic Blast is enriched with multiple frequency that literally vibrates an enemy to pieces. Now that's the description, right? Medium range with knockback area of effect weapon, must be straight and defied, cannot attack air. But I think this Vipro Cannons is what they have in Dawn of War 2. And where they just mince stuff if they get too close. Yeah, so as part from the 2 options here, you need to go in this medium range. But these guys are rather tanky. If you look at the hit points, like over 4,000 hit points on 6 models is really nice. Interesting about them is that they cost 1 infantry squad and 3 vehicle squads. So yeah, just something interesting to note. I think this is all the infantry. Let's jump over to the vehicles. The vehicles aren't as many. Eldar is more reliant on their infantry force, but they have really nice vehicles as well. We have the Falcon Craft Tank, which is hands down, maybe apart from Devilfishes from Tau, the best transport, because it is fast, it can jump twice. Just think of 2 Dark Reaper squads inside, you jump at the enemy, unload them, they shoot, and if they get too close you just fly away and shoot from another area. So really nice. And it starts with an Bright Lance on top, a little Bright Lance here on the side. So it has very good, not only infantry and heavy infantry damage, but also good damage against light vehicles. It had also like this shuriken catapult at the front, so basically good against everything. As usual, fragile, but for the vehicles you can get an upgrade in the support portal, which increases the health for all different vehicles you can see here. The second vehicle you also have access in tier 2 is the Viper. The Viper is like, it looks like a jet bike-ish, but has this rocket launcher on top. The rocket launcher, can I attack ground? Yeah. The rocket launcher has just a medium range, but it doesn't show here because it doesn't hit anything. If it hits, it has a really big knockback and has really good damage against buildings. It's not stated here, it's that it's good against vehicles and aircraft, but through its disruption it's also useful against infantry blobs, and very good if you can rush it. You can really rush tier 2 and get Vipers and kill enemy buildings, like enemy plasma generators and listing posts, to really cripple their economy. And has also the jump ability, so really nice. It's even more fragile than the Falcon tank, however, so be careful about that. The third tier 2 vehicle you have access to is the Wraith Lord. Not only looks the Wraith Lord really nice with the new models, it is very versatile. It has really high melee damage, as you can see here, but also has a shuriken cannon on top, which is very good against infantry, and can get a bright lens upgrade. In vanilla, this was your go-to tier 2 anti-vehicle, because the bright lens is very accurate, so we basically use them as a way to get bright lenses on the field. Nowadays I would say get the Shadow Spectres if you want anti-vehicle in tier 2. They are more mobile and yeah, you can get access to them faster. You don't need a support portal. Your flying unit, the Nightwing, I think it's also tier 2, is meant for anti-air. It doesn't do a whole lot to ground units. I don't think all the weapons can even attack ground units, but don't quote me on that. But has a bright lens and whatnot to shoot enemy aircraft out of the sky. Has a little research which increases their health regeneration by quite a bit, so making them in like a one-on-one air fights way superior. So yeah, I would only build it, recommend building it if the enemy goes for aircraft, like if you fight Chaos, for example, which goes for Hell Talents, get a Nightwing and just kill all the different Hell Talents that annoy you. And the tier 4, it's tier 4 vehicle is a Fire Prism. The Fire Prism looks like a Falcon Grav tank, but has way higher range. Or does it? I thought it has like really high range. Okay, I am mistaken. But fires with this Prism cannon and has a really big knockback. And as you can see, it's really good against infantry and heavy infantry because of the AoE and whatnot. And also meant against buildings. So basically good against everything, you could say. Also very mobile, but only has like one jump. Has way more health, as you can see here. So it's, yeah, a tier 4 unit for that reason. And you can get up to 2 of these. Would get them. They are really good. Keep them a little more back. They look like a lot of health, but yeah, as everything for Eldar, they will die eventually. Okay, that's their standard infantry and vehicles. Let's jump over to their different relic and titan units, which we have here. Their standard their standard relic unit they had in vanilla as well is the Avatar. The Avatar looks really nice, has a lot of HP and does a lot of damage in melee, but here comes the downside, it does not regenerate health. All damage done to it is permanent, so it will die. It's not like what I call a Bloodthirster for Chaos, which regenerates crazy if it's melee, and like a Greater Narlock, which also regenerates health. This guy does not regenerate. When it's dead, it's dead. When it takes damage, the damage is permanent. It's basically good against everything with his giant Wailing Doom Sword here, but what's most important is the passive it has. It has a passive aura around it, which makes all Eldar infantry, it calls fearless, I call it unbreakable. So morale will not drop or will not take any morale damage. As I told you earlier, it increases the maximum squad cap. And another passive that the building of aspect portals and support portals, so their unit production buildings, is halved. Not as useful, I would say, but like the morale immunity stuff and their squad cap increase is really nice. The new relic unit, also in tier 4, is the Wraith Knight. I want to be quiet for a second so you can just listen to the voiceover for a second, if it's loud enough, I hope. There is also like voiceover stuff on the Unification YouTube channel they have. The thing is, I think don't quote me on the lore, but the thing is, if that the Wraith Knight can be, what should I say, produced and fielded, or how should I say, controlled, you need like 2 brother and sister, and one needs to sacrifice itself to become basically the Wraith Knight, and the other one can then control the Wraith Knight. So it's really nice to have like two voices. They talk similarly, a female and a male voice. Really, really good job. Wraith Knight itself is like a big version of mixed of the Wraith Blades and Wraith Guard. Has like this big sword and shield here, but also shuriken cannons on top. Can get their arm weapons changed to Wraith cannons or sun cannons, so it turns to a ranged squad, and can also change their shuriken cannons to scatter lasers or bright lances on top. So it has some range damage, but also retains their melee weapons, because when you research one of those, the melee weapons will get changed to ranged weapons. So if you want a really superior ranged Wraith Knight, you can do it. Not sure what's it best used for, if you ask me. Not used it a lot. And the last unit is the Titan, the Revenant Titan. The Revenant Titan, compared to other Titans, has less HP, but is really fast. Even though it doesn't look like it, it has ability which makes them fast. Has some really big lasers and stuff. Also rocket launchers on top. Can get sonic lances left and right instead of these, I think, they look like really big bright lances. And the biggest thing, we can attack ground so you can see. This is the rocket it shoots on ground, not the bright lances. It has various abilities. It can jump, which is really nice for a Titan. It has enchanted Wraith Bone regeneration, which gives them an auto heal. Costs, if you look here, 20 power. Doesn't it say 20 power? Maybe it's percentage based then. Okay, so you can toggle it. If it's on, you'd regenerate health. So really nice for infield regeneration. You can even jump out, regenerate, and then jump on in again. And talking about speed, it has something like similar to the Fleet of Foot ability, these gravity boosters, which is basically Fleet of Foot, increases the speed but decreases the damage. Accuracy, yeah, basically Fleet of Foot but on a Titan. So it's really nice to just scatter around the map, jump everywhere. Yeah, health wise it is a little low, but as the usual for Eldar. Very mobile, very fragile, high damage. Let me take a quick note on look at my notes if I have forgot something. I said that about the Exarchs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we can jump over to the Techtree as usual, so I can tell you when all the upgrades are available. I talked quite a lot about upgrades, but then we see when they are available. So see you in the Techtree. And here we are in the Techtree document. The first thing I want to tell you about is how to tech. Really, tier 1 of course is your HQ, and I also told you that tier 2 is your Soul Shrine here. Is it Soul Shrine? I think. Give me a second. Yeah, your Soul Shrine. Note that you can build it immediately. You don't need to build your barracks or anything. You can basically, if you have the resources for it, you can jump to tier 2, which is really, really nice strategy wise. Once at tier 2 and build a support portal, you can then research, what is it called? Something with war. It doesn't show me here, but it's a tier 3 research, which is researched in your HQ. And once you have researched that, you can immediately jump to tier 4 in your Soul Shrine, which is called Annihilate the Enemy, which is your tier 4 research. So tier 2 is a building, and tier 3 and 4 are researches. Yeah, about the upgrades, I want to tell you the different upgrades in your HQ are available right away. So you need, what I didn't tell you, Fleet of Foot, like the ability to run fast but get decreased accuracy, needs to be researched. And this is going to be your first research you do every game basically. You build a worker, a couple of capturing squads, and then you get Fleet of Foot right away because you want it, you need it. Your units are fragile, you need to be able to run away into safety, into safe range where they can shoot. Here you have Wraith Tomb as well, the ability for the Bone Singer, so you can just teleport in the beginning and use it. You need to research it at first. Then you have the Plasma Grenades. These are really nice, but quite expensive in tier 1. They are like 75 power, which is a lot in the early game. And then you have Mysticism. A Mysticism for all your different warlocks you have is also quite expensive in tier 1 and takes quite a while to research, but has usage until late game. That's the researches for your HQ. The researches for your aspect portal is basically the infiltration research in tier 1 for your rangers, and the haywire grenades for your warp spiders in tier 3. They get available. The warp spiders themselves can be built in tier 2, but the haywires you need tier 3 for. And the researches for the vehicles in the support portal are available right away. The ones is their holo fields, which is their increased health for all their different vehicles, and this is the research for the plus 10, I think, HP per second for the I forgot the name. Nightwing, Ravenwing? No, Nightwing. Nightwing, the first one was right. That's all the researches you can do there. And then you have, of course, your dedicated research building your Soul Shrine. Don't confuse it. Once you build it, you're basically tier 2. So all these abilities are blocked behind this building. So basically the tier 2. You have Fortune ability, which is a passive ability of the Farseer, which decreases damage taken by squads around them, I think about 10%. You have the Eldritch Storm, I told you. You have the Warshout research. One thing to note about the Warshout and the Haywire Grenade research, it doesn't give you only access to this ability, but also gives the exarchs of their Warp Spiders and Banshees, respectively, and better weapon, and gives them some improvements in damage and health, I think. Then you have also the upgrades for your heroes, which increase health, regeneration, and cooldown. Decreases cooldowns of abilities. Note that you can build 2 upgrades in tier 2 right away. For most factions, it's tier 2 the first upgrade, and in tier 3 the second upgrade. So you can get a really nice Farseer if you want to focus on her in tier 2 already. Then you have some war gear for health and whatnot, and here you have the very expensive war gear for this Soulstorm ability. And what's also important in tier 2, which is the first ability, the first research you're gonna do in tier 2 is the Targeters here. What is it called? Jesus. It doesn't tell me, but this increases the damage of all your ranged infantry squads. And as I told you, you are really reliant on your infantry, so you get this as first upgrade in tier 2. Later you get also the health upgrade, but this is if you're tier 2, you immediately click this upgrade. The value is really high. In tier 3 you have increased versions of these, which you always will get also in tier 3. Once you hit tier 3, get the damage and health upgrades. You have also some more war gear for the Farseer, which increases their health. For most of them also increase their or decrease their cooldown, so really nice if you want to spam your abilities. And these are the runes of witnessing, which gives her as well detection, which is always nice to have on a commander. You have on your defensive buildings or your economy buildings, you have your resources for your requisition for your in your listening posts, and resources for power on your power generators, which is pretty standard. And you have the different researches for your warp gates on your warp gates. Yeah, I already told it. It's not a warp gate. It's webway gate. Sorry, warp is for the demon folks. That's about it. About the units, there's only one thing really to note, is that their different exarchs are all hidden behind their different aspect zones, which is something you wouldn't notice in normal play, because once you have Banshees, you have the aspect zone as well. You basically can all the exarchs right away. as expect for the Warlocks. For the Guardians, you really need an aspect portal for that. And the Guardians, you get out your web array assembly, so this is the only leader that isn't available right away. Every other leader is available in the tier you can get the units themselves. So basically, if you want to get the Exarchs, just get it. They are expensive, but as I told you before, all the Exarchs increase the damage of the squad elite by 10%. I think it's called Leadership, the passive. I haven't listed it as a passive because it's only, how should I say, only affecting the squad themselves, so it's not a passive aura around them. What is also interesting is, their Honor Guard units. I want to tell them a short second about them. The Honor Guard units are small squads of Exarchs for the most part, and the Exarchs start with their ability you normally need to research. Like the Ranger squad is infiltrated right away, the Banshee squad has the Scream ability right away, and the really powerful Warp Strider Exarch squad has Haywire grenades immediately as it's on the field right away. Fleet of Foot needs to be researched though. And one last thing to note about the avatar of Cain. Is it Cain? The avatar you can get in survival from Eldar. This has not the passives from the standard avatar you get, so it does not increase your vehicle cap, your caps. It doesn't. I think it doesn't make you morale immune and everything. It's just a big, tanky second avatar. If I'm wrong about that with the aura, just tell me. But at least it doesn't increase your squad cap even more. So there's only one avatar that increases your squad cap. That's the OG avatar you need to build yourself. Okay, that's about the tech trees. Next up, I have prepared a few build orders. The build orders are, how should I say, taken from pro games I have watched in the past. So they are really valid, you could say. So see you in the next document. Here on the build order document, one note I have to say before it, as I told you, it's from pro plays, but for all these build orders I have here, you can change them around quite a bit, especially what infantry you get in what order. For the most part, I prioritized the Dark Reapers in all my build orders here, but you can also get away with getting like a Farsi or Ranger squad earlier. The quote-unquote standard, let's say not too late tier 2 build is that you get a second Bone Singer, you get your aspect portal as soon as you can, get 2 Guardians to cap stuff, and then immediately start Fleet of Foot research. The Fleet of Foot research takes quite a while, so you want to start it as soon as you can, but not before getting all the stuff out you need. Once you have your aspect total, you get the Reaper stone and get 2 Dark Reapers, and later add in a Ranger or Farseer before getting then tier 2. You also will start with a generator and will need to build a second generator before you can get to tier 2. I would also recommend, if you need to fight a bit in tier 1, get the Exarchs for your Dark Reapers because they are awesome. Really expensive, but I think they are worth it because they also increase the damage of all the other Dark Reapers in their squad. Need to drink a bit, sorry. My voice. The second build I have here is really common for Eldar players, and I have had quite a success against the AI with it, is the Dark Reaper spam. The beginning is similar but different. The biggest difference is that you don't get a plasma generator, so it's a no-gen opener, which enables you to get 3 Dark Reaper squads wide array and also give 1 in Exarch, but then your power is, you don't have power for more Exarchs, so you have only 1. Later you add in a Weapon Gate to have more infantry cap and get a 4th Dark Reaper squad. You can also, if you want to do it, if you're like successful and want to keep the pressure up, get another Weapon Gate and add another 2 Dark Reaper squads. But I would suggest that you, at some point, if you have got an advantage, but cannot and should not kill the enemy, like in the last buildings, as they like, if you can't kill like a fortified position, okay, just contain the enemy, get 2 generators up, get to tier 2, get the targeter upgrade, get Falcon, and then go ham. So really strong build. You need to have quite a micro to micro 3 to 4 Dark Reaper squads with fleet of foot and everything. So micro intensive, but yeah, really worth it if you can micro it. The third opener I also saw in different games is the Guardian with Grenade opener, I called it. It's basically you get 3 Guardians, a Bone Singer, fleet of foot, and then also immediately plasma grenades. And I think you can get any infantry in your aspect portal, but I think for the most part you want a Farseer, because the Farseer is support for these otherwise fragile Guardians, can disrupt quite a lot with her melee attack and guide them and whatnot, so really useful. And also you need a plasma generator right away, because all these upgrades are really expensive. Later on tier 1 you will add another generator, you will get a Dark Reaper or a Ranger. If you get a Ranger, you might as well get the Ranger infiltration upgrade. And you will get Warlock upgrades, I think, on all of them, if you ask me, because of the Entangle ability, and get Mysticism. Really expensive, but this is, yeah. And that need to get a 3rd generator and then to tier 2. So this is all very expensive, but the plasma grenades are really good, and the damage on Guardians with the Warlock leader is also not to underestimate it. Yeah, really fragile, medium range. If you want to contain your enemy even better than this, I would highly recommend that you get a Dark Reaper over a Ranger. But if you're can't contain your enemy and need to fight on the flat ground, I would prefer the Ranger. In general, I'm not the best in using the Ranger squads, but I saw a lot of pro players using Rangers to the best effects, because them you want to fleet of foot them into range, fleet of foot off, shoot once, fleet of foot out of range, because you have this a long time before they can shoot again. So you want to constantly run them out, in and out again. So high on the micro, but very good if you want to break enemy morale, especially good against enemy range squads. Against enemy melee squads, it's not always the best to break the morale, because if they're morale broken, they are faster and are even faster at your range units. So yeah, keep that in mind. And the last build is also really potent against certain enemies. It's the tier 2 rush. You can get tier 2 really early. You build a Bone Singer to build like 2 generators at the same time, get 2 Guardians to cap, and then get another Bone Singer, because you want to build your tier 2 basically with 2 builders, and then have 1 Bone Singer to build listening posts. You can also pull one of these building dudes here off and then get a 3rd generator, which I would recommend, because the whole purpose of getting tier 2 fast is to get Vipers. At least if you ask me. You get then your support portal really early, get the Viper aspect stones, get a web brigade, and get 3 Vipers out and kill all the enemy economy. Run away from their infantry, because they're really fragile. They can survive quite the punishment, but for the most part, run away, kill all the buildings, and all the while you can get some researches done in your Soul Shrine. And once you build the support portal, you can add a aspect portal here, and get warp spiders. If you cripple the enemy enough, you can get warp spiders, for example, out before they can do anything against you. As for all tier 2 rushes, it's fragile in terms of your base defense, but the enemy normally wants to defend their own economy as well, so really dicey. But that's the tier 2 rush for you. It's very hit or miss, if you ask me. Okay, that's the build orders out of the way, and now I have one replay for you. It's about a game I already have cast. It's a game of Gap PR versus Refiler. Refiler playing Eldar here on Quest Triumph. So we will jump into that right now. And here we are on the replay. As I told you, it's a gap PR as Imperial Guard versus Refiler in a signature purple as Eldar. He goes for the standard, or let's say a standard opener, getting the second Bone Sinker out, 2 Guardians and Fleet of Foot, as I told you. Gets the Aspect Portal, and does he get a Gen or not? He does not, so it's the Dark Reaper spam. You see him getting the Aspect Zone right away, getting the Guardians to cap, and then you move your Bone Singers right next to the Guardians because they will not do anything else, so you might as well wait there to immediately build a listening. No, it's a listening shrine, I think, yeah. Or the listening post. So he really starts 2 Dark Reaper, will add a 3rd Dark Reaper squad later, and then he has 10 out of 10 squad cap. I'm not really sure about the cap order, but I see that he caps with his Dark Reapers 1 point, which is highly recommended. I think I like the cap order. Hopefully he goes next to this.
We have it, Farseer.
He goes to this, yeah. If he goes to this, it's a good cap order. Yes. And there's your second Dark Reaper. With those you don't want to cap, you want to go to the enemy and fight. And this also is also really nice with your Fleet of Foot research timing and with the cap timing. So they are roughly around the same time. So you can now Fleet of Foot over to the enemy. And once these are done, they are also Fleet of Foot and can move on. He gets a 3rd Bone Sinker, not sure about that one. But he should get, yeah, the 3rd Dark Reaper. Now he can stand here in heavy cover and annoy the enemy. Got a little too close. The Guardsmen doing what they should do, and that is force melee combat. But now the 2nd Dark Reaper squad is here, so they need to run away. You see how little damage they take in heavy. It's light cover even. Yeah, so a mistake here is to run back. You saw the heavy bolter turret, and yeah, it isn't finished. So you had way enough time to kill the Tech Priest here. Switching the sides here is probably not the best. If you have an opener here, use it. I think, yeah, you can now annoy the enemy here, but around here, yeah, there's the infantry command. You will not deal anything here. This decap is expensive on the damage side here. Better get Guardians to go over here and decap, and not your 70 requisition, very expensive Dark Reapers. So I would say attack here, and yeah. On this map, also very interesting, I would recommend building a turret here, which will shoot this listening post all the time. That's a little quirk about Quest Triumph. Quest Triumph in general not the best map for Eldar, because you only have certain lanes to attack, and this benefits defensive factions like Imperial Guard. Normally he's too far in front with his Rangers, get the Exarchs, with his Dark Reapers. His micro is good, apart from being too close to the infantry command. So again, he runs around the whole map and now tries to attack here, but heavy bolter turret is up there, almost certainly, so he lost his opportunity. Now he has this very expensive opener, which is meant for aggression, just standing around. I mean, yes, he got plasma generators, but the better opener would be to be aggressive. He now gets Wraith Tomb, which is really good against enemy turrets as well, which is a nice little addition to it. Yeah, but yeah, as I told you, if you want to, how should I phrase this? If you use this opener, you need to be aggressive all the time, because it's expensive. You delay your tech by quite a while, so you want to deal damage. And just standing around like a minute here is giving IG so much time to build up. So you really want to force it. And if you see a turret getting up and it's not finished, try to kill the worker. Try to get the turret down. Because now Imperial Guard has two areas where it's defensive. One with the infantry command, one with the turret. He stands here, uses the Wraith Tomb ability, which is really nice, but needs to stand all the units in their light cover here. Focuses the turret, as he should. You see the damage against building of Dark Reapers is also okay. Mincing the infantry now needs to focus the listening post, upgrade listening post, needs to reinforce as he does. But now imagine he had got a fourth Dark Reaper squad instead of the second or third generator here. He would have way more DPS and could kill the listening post. So if you want to go this style, you need to go hard. Need to get at least 4 Dark Reaper squads. Because yes, he uses the Guardians, which is also the right play to use the Guardians. There's one Guardian which is standing around, should get this point here. Now the Guardians will decap. You can stand out of range. Get a little farther back. Yeah, even with them, just a little bit back and they can shoot without getting shot. But I'm not sure if you can micro them to do so. Now that the Tech Priest is out, you need to, that's hard on the micro side, you need to run forth all of them and focus the Tech Priest. That's okay. He also has Wraith Tomb, probably getting another builder out and then teleporting it. The Bone Singers start with their teleporting cooldown, so you can't just build like 1 second, build the worker and then jump it right away. You need to build them a little earlier. Not sure what's the plan here. Okay, that's so. I'm not sure why he backs down. Because of the heavy turret. So the enemy is tier 2. Way before he? No, not way before he is also tier 2. He needs a support portal ASAP. Why is he getting a web brigade? Need a support portal. Started. Right now. Don't click both the upgrades. Need to one upgrade and then use the resources for... What the heck is going on here? And then use the resources. Why is he adding web brigades? Really, why? You can build a support portal here around the building area of the listening shrine here or there. So, big misplay. Yeah. You need to have a support portal. Yes, you can get Shadow Spectres out, but these are only one squad. You need to have Falcons. You really want Falcons. Falcons are really good against everything the enemy has, including the Chimeras. I mean, the Shadow Spectres are really meant to against the Chimeras. You need to get their leader out that has increased damage and increases also the damage of all their units around, so of their whole squad. So you want to have them as well. Yes, he has this position here, but now he moves in against a fortified position with heavy weapon squads and a crap ton of Chimeras without having any vehicles himself. Vehicles would be the way to go. Also on this map I saw, which is really nice, get a support platform here with a D cannon. The range is enough to hit about here. So this is something I would recommend on this map. It can be used on other maps like Father Morgar as well if you are on the defensive side. Not a good position here with the Dark Reapers, they get focused. With the Shadow Spectres it is nice, killing a lot of Chimeras. But what's the... You need to have 2 Bone Singers to build a support portal because it takes quite long. Getting Fire Dragons is not a good choice here, if you ask me. Because, as I told you before, they need to get so close before they can't attack. I would recommend getting the Shadow Spectres, that's really the right move. But then go onto vehicles, get a Falcon or 2. Get Wraith not Wraith Knight, what is it called? Wraith Lord with Brightlands if you want to have further anti-vehicle, but these fire dragons won't do it. See them die without killing anything. Their range is too low. They will just die. Misplay there. Also mispositioning on the Satisfactors. They are just in the midst here and die. Yeah, that's a micro slip up here. Sorry about pointing out so many mistakes. He does better than I would do with Eldar by far. So don't take it for hate. I just tell you what would be the better play. Now is a Falcon that he would needed a few minutes ago. Now there are too many Chimeras and your Shadow Spectres are dead as well. The Falcon in conjunction with the Shadow Spectres would have dealt with that. Also now you have a Wraith Lord with Brightlands who you would have early as well. I'm not sure why he built these web brigades. You want to build them after the support portal because you want the vehicle cap increase, but get the first vehicle out and while you build the second one, get the web brigades. Not sure how he can win now, not with this half-hearted attack. Wraith Lord here, yes he does quite a lot of vehicle and anti-vehicle damage, but this Chimeras does do as well. Now he is also stunned and dead. He does something he could have done with the Shadow Spectres and everything as well before. It is a nice one. One thing you can really use Fire Dragons with is a Harassment drop. Not sure what he's doing here, probably a misclick. Should focus the listing posts or the generators, but as I know, KPI, the generators are always quite defended. Chimera spam. Not sure what he can do right now. Getting Shadow Spectres up again, getting some more generators. Yeah, and then jump out and wait a bit and then jump in again when the enemy is fighting you. Shadow Spectres should stay here. I think the range is big enough. Can probably deal with all the anti-vehicle stuff around here. Something that would be nice is if more people would use the take and hold victory, because all the time Refiler has two critical locations here, so the Gappy would need to decap it, and it's really difficult to decap for Imperial Guard. So he would have need to throw in quite a lot of Imperial Guard squads that would have been shot all around here with Dark Reapers, so would give Eldar quite an advantage. In general, take and hold victory is very good against, how should I say, campy factions like Imperial Guard. Brings more, how should I say, more action to the game because the enemy needs to move. This should be a standard PvP, let's say it, phrase it differently. It is a standard PvP setting that is most of the time not used in Unification plays for reasons unknown to me. Still a good position here after all this. We have some sentinels here, but the Shadow Spectres, yeah, deal quite a lot of damage, need to be reinforced to the maximum and need to be careful, they are fragile. He focused them, tried to focus them, but lost quite a lot, lost his Wraith Lord. Now has the Farseer for, I don't know why actually, he got the Eldritch Storm, but the chances of her getting in without dying against this fortified position is rather low. Where is she? Maybe we can follow her for a second. Put in a Dark Reaper squad. Also not the best. As I see, the enemy is tier 3, right? And now it's gonna be difficult. There's the Catechins. Guardsman. Oh, those are Kazakhstans. Kazakhstans, sorry. The next Wraith Lord is getting killed here. Yeah, difficult. He has quite a lot of requisition. Should go tier 3. Get he has the power upgrade. The first one you can get a second global power upgrade in tier 2, so you should go for it. He could use the dispersion ability. Not sure if he does. The effect isn't as clear. Shooting guardsmen as he should. Storm. A waste. Okay, not a waste. It does damage against infantry and knockback, but yeah, I would recommend the other storm here and use the Eldritch Storm against buildings. KPR even has a heavy bolter turret here, really nice for Falcon drops here. And now we have the Kazakhstan out. It's tier 3. What is the tier 3 status? It's still a ways off. And what did you get in tier 3 would be the Seer Council. Seer Council would be the best thing in tier 2. He didn't even consider warp spiders, which is sad, as warp spiders, yeah, having warp spiders getting tier 3 is really nice, because you can get their haywire grenades and then basically kill everything IG has, all the infantry, haywire bombs on the sentinels and whatnot, and yeah, really high damage. Warp spiders in tier 2 also really nice against enemy infantry. Against vehicles they don't do anything, to be honest. But you could use them to snipe out heavy weapon squads, for example. You jump in, kill the heavy weapon squad, and jump out again. But here we have the death push of Predator. We have the really good Kazakhstan units focusing down the enemy infantry, having a crap ton of vehicles, even some guardsmen with plasma guns running in. Yeah, this is over. He now gets warp spiders, too late. It's the Nightwing regeneration for no reason. Damn those sentinels. Good played, well played by both. I casted this replay and KPR also did some mistakes. That's as usual, there aren't perfect games. Again, don't take my criticism up, or don't take my pointing out of the mistakes of Refiler as like hate. He did really well in this game, had some really good opportunities, some he did use, some he did not use. In general, these guys play way better than I do, so don't take me like hating on these guys. I'm just pointing out things that are good, and these are things that I think that weren't good. The thing he did well was the tier 1, except that he needed to be a little more aggressive. In tier 2, getting the Shadow Spectres out right away is a good call. Delaying his support portal for that long isn't a good call. So you need to get your support portal out rather quickly. You have the Shadow Spectres, so you don't need to get Fire Dragons, if you ask me. Fire Dragons are more or less obsolete, except for maybe some drops to the enemy base. But guess what? Shadow Spectres have long range. Shadow Spectres can jump. So you don't need Fire Dragons in this meta, if you ask me, at all. Rather get your support portal, get Falcons, get Wraith Lords, or yeah, make a light tier 2 and get tier 3. But Falcons is the way to go, if you ask me, in tier 2. Falcons supported by Shadow Spectres, maybe a Wraith Lord or 2 with Bright Lances. Okay guys, before my voice is totally dying, as always, I hope I have made up a good guide for you. If you have questions, put them in the comments. If I did something, told something wrong, put it in the comments. If I forgot something, put it in the comments. Yeah, as the usual here. Thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.